no, it's a different sound. I looked at the recording more carefully, and it's a sound that doesn't really occur usually in any dialect of English. It's an R-colored E. So the classic example is current. It's a weird as hell sound. It does not occur in any documented dialect of English. as far as I can tell. And it shows up where American English uniformly would expect at. So can't, can't. And what I was trying to do is just figure out where this shows up. I wasn't totally sure about the whole at thing, where I could imagine some dialect putting in an gave her those to read, gave her all the things that I had heard that she used to read, and then came up with lots of words that were similar. And for a while, I just had no idea what the hell was going on. Because parseless, arsk, barsk, karkies, pars, karmt, farsht, talk, tark, lars, larsht, parson, marsk. I've got a whole list of ones that show up, and then a lot of ones that seem really similar. And it's really hard to come up with a rule just based on all this for what should and shouldn't happen. I'm trying to find what are really annoying pairs. Like carnt and pan. She says she's got a totally clear a for pan. Or farsht and at. Okay, I didn't line these up. I had on paper just lining up with, okay, here are ones where there's basically no difference in the words, and still there's a difference in which one. And she was consistent. Like I would give her them reshuffled a few times, and there was no variations which would and wouldn't get marked with this. So I was basically trying to just make this totally rigorous and sort out which one was going, which were doing what. And the only thing I could be absolutely sure of is ones where the Oxford Dictionary of American English said that you're supposed to pronounce an A sound, the AE hybrid letter. I forget what the letter's called. It's got a cool name. Sort of like that as the A. But every time it's that, then Stacy will either say A or say R. Every time it's any other vowel, she'll say it with an American pronunciation, general American, which is Nebraska English. For some reason, that's basically 4/5 of the U.S. speaks something that's within 10% variation relative to I forget what of Nebraska English, or also Southern Illinois. We're one of very, very few countries where the dialect center is not the most economically important place. So I was basically hopeless. I was like, okay, so she probably just decided when she was a little kid that she was going to fuck with us all. 50 words that she pronounced in these unimaginably bizarre way. We had no idea what was going on. I then noticed that there was an ambiguity in a couple of transcriptions where it wasn't clear what they were trying to do, and they listed several options in the Oxford Dictionary of American English. So I decided to go to a different dictionary, the OED. And discovered that it listed which vowel it listed. I think it listed the backwards A, which is really hard to. Yeah. It's this guy. It's like this but backwards. It's hard to draw. Also hard to draw when you're kind of dyslexic. It listed that guy, which doesn't show up in American English accents. Further down, I found another thing which was ambiguous, which Stacey also did the thing to, and noticed that vowel. And then kept going through and went back and reviewed all of them. And all of the ones, you get this, show up as that in both British and American standard pronunciations. All the ones who get this, you have this vowel, which is the one that never appears in American English. I asked her to describe her parents' accent. I very loosely remember it. I tried to reconstruct it. I looked up South American standard accent stuff. And South American English has this vowel. So what apparently happened is, despite growing up in the US and picking up all of the US vowel sounds and no other South African vowel sounds. She kept the distinction between these two, which exists in British and South African English. And apparently just needed some way to mark this off, but was just not interpreting South African English vowels. And so made this up. Or something like it. She apparently also wrote a paper on this for herself. We agreed not to share notes until after I turned in the paper, but we never wound up doing so. So I'll get back to you if she disagrees with me. Yeah, I guess all I have left is a little bit of history stuff, which is not that interesting. But after the whole structuralism stuff, after phonemics, the sort of dominant thing to do was optimality theory. And that's still all over linguistics, you'll see optimality theory. The idea of that is for any given sentence or syllable or sound, you have the underlying form, I forget the Chomsky term for it, but there's this universal term that's just like underlying form. And then there's a whole series of rules, like this whole gauntlet of things you have to pass through. Some of them are wielding pistols, some of them are wielding clubs. If you either get shot or you get clubbed a whole bunch of times in the way, you don't make it out. And if you don't make it out, they'll send something else instead. And just keep sending kind of random variants on this word until something can survive and get pronounced. And so the way you kind of imagine something in OT, optimality theory, is you think of what the underlying form would be. Like for the, it might be the, for just if you try to pronounce THE. Then that gets like somewhere along the line, that hits a constraint, which is just like, wait, no, that's really hard to pronounce. Fuck that. Go away. Then you come up with something else, like the. That hits something else further along. Or like gets clubbed to death gradually or something. Then finally come with the, and it makes it through. And it's how these things vary is kind of assumed to be random, like anything you can free associate as being like that sound. It's especially interesting if you're looking at porting words into different languages. Like a lot of languages, if you reinterpret a word into the next other language, you'll delete a shitload of syllables. I forget what language. In some language, cell phone got reported as like savant, just because there were some rules that blocked like the sound cell and like bow, and they just get cut down. Japanese is a hilariously constrained language. I think there are something like 75 possible allowed syllables in Japanese. Chinese is considered hilariously constrained, and Mandarin has 407. English is probably like 4,000. Incidentally, as an aside, in an independent standalone syllable, you've got the onset, the coda, and the onset, the nucleus, and the coda. Nucleus is either a vowel or something else that makes a loud noise. Onset is everything before that, coda is everything after that. Codas and onsets obviously blend into each other if they're next to each other. But most languages allow 1 to 2 sounds in the onset, 1 sound in the coda. That's pretty standard. Occasionally you'll get higher numbers than that. Often you'll get lower numbers than that. English allows 5 in the onset and 4 in the coda, which is why learning pronounced English can be a pain in the ass. Trying to think of worse examples of fifth. It's pretty bad. If I think of the example, there's one that actually uses all of that, and it's amazing just as perfectly natural pronounced. It's not like fifth where it's a little bit weird in certain contexts, it just is natural, and you realize you're like, wait, that's 6 consonants in a row if you put it in a word. So English is weird. What was I saying? Japanese is hilariously constrained. You go through OT, and the only optimality rule for porting into Japanese is never delete any sound. And so, that's a good example. Disneyland. You can't delete anything, but that has some consecutive consonants, which Japanese just does not allow at all. And so it turns into disuniranndo, or disunirannudo. Disunirannudo. I'm ignoring the long for distinction of Japanese, but this the sort of thing that OT looks at. That's kind of like, this is a big thing. I don't think anyone's saying that it's completely wrong just because you can model whatever the hell you want that way. It's not totally falsifiable, it's not totally a theory, it's just kind of a way of interpreting things. what's becoming a big focus of research